Hello Typo 3 community, welcome back. As you all know, documentation is an important part of every open source project. And with Typo 3, you can collaborate super easy, and we're going to show you how. Stay tuned. So collaboration on documentation sounds hard, but it actually isn't. So I'm going to show you how to do this in a really simple manner. What I did here is I went to docs.typo3.org into the user tsconfig documentation, which you might know from an earlier video. And what we have here, I went to the intro page of user tsconfig, and the very first sentence, I found some parts that I didn't really like that much. So I want to edit this. So on the top right-hand corner, there's a button which says Edit Me on GitHub. And if I click this, I will be redirected to GitHub. And now GitHub tells me that I need to create a fork of this repository so I can work in my version and then supply the changes upstream to the documentation team. And I can just click here, the fork this repository button, and propose changes. And now I'm already in an editor view, and I'm going to zoom in here so we can take a look at the very first sentence. And it says you can enter tsconfig for both backend users and groups. And I'm going to adjust this sentence just a bit so that we can say for backend users and backend groups. We'll mind the dash here. The resulting tsconfig for a certain backend user is accumulated tsconfig for all the backend groups he is a member of. And I kind of dislike it because it kind of suggests that only guys could actually code, and this makes no sense whatsoever. So what we do is we basically change this sentence to the resulting tsconfig for a certain backend user is the accumulated tsconfig for all backend groups the respective, or the current, we'll call it the current backend user is a member of. And then we'll line break here and fix some more line breaks right here and here. And then the last sentence also has kind of the same problem. So we go, thus you can override formally set options from the user groups by entering another configuration in the tsconfig field for the user himself. So we'll just remove the himself because that, again, suggests that it's only for male people, which, again, makes no sense. And that's pretty much it. So what we can do now is we can just say we want to propose a change, which was fixed male wording in intro page. And we'll just give it some more descriptive text, which would be the intro text for user, now without a typo, config suggested to use male pronouns. This has been fixed. And we just click propose file change. And what's now happening under the hood is that we basically committed this change to our local repository, and in the same step created an upstream pull request for the documentation team. And in a couple of, well, hours, maybe even faster, the documentation team will take a look at the change, hopefully accept it, and then we already had our first contribution to Typo 3's documentation. And that's how easy it is. So don't hesitate. Help us out. If you spot a typo somewhere, if you spot something old in the documentation, help us out. It's super easy. It took us like 2 minutes right now. Again, if you have any more questions or suggestions, just leave them in the box below. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.